Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Worthy, Worth It, and Priceless. This podcast is titled If Tomorrow Never Comes. So, what I will say is, I'll be 100% transparent with you. Lately, I have been grieving my brother heavily. It has been a lot to go through. Just basically realizing that he's no longer here. Um, Realizing that, like your best friend and your first best friend, no matter what, like we had plans, like I said before, to see each other again, all those things, and whatever plans we had, we never got a chance to do those things. And it's just basically I was telling God, I was like, I don't know how to live without him, and I would realize that no matter what promises were given to me or, however I view my future or however God told me my future was going to be, it was never in God's cards for my brother to be here. It was in my plans. And so the point of trying to process the fact that, no matter what I thought my life was going to look like, no matter if I thought me and him was going to be on that porch, as older adults, as we talked about, you know, um, watching our grandkids, watching our children and things like that, that plan will never come to pass on this earth. And it is a lot to process. Um, but the thing about it is this, I am comforted in knowing that my brother is at peace, that he was called home. Um, and so at the end of the day, with going through that, um, like I said, it was a lot, to say the least. And so God gave me a series of dreams. And in those dreams, I'll tell you, well, one of the dreams that I had was, so just say the bus came to pick up my daughter. And so, I'm rushing outside to put her on the bus. And the thing about it is, we get to the bus. She doesn't have her shoes on and she doesn't have a harness. Now, my daughter, as you know, is autistic and nonverbal. So, but for her to be on the bus, she actually has to be strapped in with a harness because she will walk all around the bus if not. So, um, she has to have a harness. So we had to go back into the house, had to put her on her harness, then in her shoes. Then we get out back to the bus. She doesn't have her book bag. So we had to go back, get the book bag, and then I think she also needed a jacket. And so instead of me, telling the bus, one more minute, I didn't say anything to the bus. I'm just assuming they're going to wait. When we got ready, it was like 1 second with us getting ready. As we're about to go to the door, the bus drives off. Because if you notice that the bus actually, for buses, well, in our area, they have 2 minutes. Like, you know what I mean? You have to have it ready in 2 minutes or have your child ready in 2 minutes. And they drove off, and I was realizing, like, at that moment, it was like $200 out the window because it's like, if I don't go to work, there's no money. So I was like, "Oh my god." And so then, that happened. And I'll give you the analysis afterwards. But then, after that, then I had a vision. I went back to sleep. Then I had a vision, and right before I woke up, and it was just as if I was about to die, like knowingly I was about to die. And in that moment, it was a whole bunch of I didn't. I didn't do, I didn't have enough confidence. I didn't go out and live my dreams. I didn't. And when I tell you, by the time I woke up from that vision or however that worked, All that heaviness that I had from my brother, I don't have it anymore. And that's how God works. The analysis from the dream about the bus with my daughter was that you just have to do it. You know what I mean? I was trying to get everything to be perfect, and that's just not just in the dream, even in life. Like even right now is, trying to get everything together for worthy, worth it, and priceless, trying to make sure everything is perfect. Am I doing everything right? And, even sometimes even, carrying the grief of losing the brother and the dad. And it's like, I just want to, do it right. I want to do it perfect. And sometimes you get to a place that you're not doing anything at all. And you're thinking, 'cause you know how everybody tells you, um, what is for you is for you and it'll always be yours. But what they don't say is there is a time limit for those things. Like, what I mean? You're not going to have forever. That bus or that opportunity isn't going to wait forever. Sometimes you have to get it together along the way. If I would have just, ran out to the bus, like, hey, we put our jacket on the way to the bus. Just see me. You know what I mean? That's how you have to be sometimes. Not sitting up here trying to get everything perfect because you're not going to get everything perfect. You can't do everything in your power. Some things needs God. Well, everything needs God, but you know what I mean? You need God with that. You know what I mean? I can't just, I don't do anything by myself. I don't do anything. This is not my own doing. And sometimes we get into that, oh, well, I have to show up every day or something. And even if you make a video or do whatever every day, doesn't mean that it's always going to hit the algorithm or whatever. You still need the impact of God, no matter what. And the thing about it is, we get caught up thinking that it is our own doing, or we want everything to be perfect that we don't move at all. And then next thing you know, opportunities just pass us by. And then the other part, as you already know, the analysis of or whatever about the vision. At the end of the day, once your life is over, it's over. You can't go back to the other day and say, "Oh, you know what? Let me just fix that." Well, now that I'm facing death, so to speak, let me start working on that dream. No, honey, you can't go back. This is it. You know what I mean? There is no tomorrow for you. And so, while we have life, I know that we're grieving other people. I know you miss them, girl, sir. I know that you miss that person, but you still have life and you still have to live. God still has a purpose for you. I know you feel as though you don't know how to live without them or anything, but if you were not supposed to live without them, you would have left when they left. But there's still a purpose for you. There's still people attached to you. You still have a dream. Like God still has a purpose for your life, even if you can't see it. Then sit with God and ask Him, what is your purpose for my life? What do you need me to do in this moment? God, I don't want to waste another second. I know I am missing them, but I would hate to miss what you have for me. And that's what you have to feel. You have to realize that there is more to your life than what happened in the past and yesterday. Sometimes we're thinking, man, I used to do this, or I used to be 10 pounds, lighter, all these different things. And you're always thinking, or some of you may always be thinking that the past was your greatest days. No, you haven't seen your greatest days, but you'll never get there if you're stuck. Stop being stuck. And I understand that we've all have childhood issues. We all had trauma situations in our life that makes it hard for us to keep going. But I need for you to pray to God to help you keep going, to help you to process that. Because at the end of the day, He had you go through that because He knew that you can get through it. And because you went through it, you can give that advice to somebody else and they can get through it. And you can break down barriers for people by giving them encouragement through what they've been through or what you've been through so that they can get through. I know that was probably confusing, but you get what I mean. That is the thing. Let me try it again. So, because of what you went through, you can give advice to somebody else so that they can get through it. Keep the faith. You are not at the end. God still has a plan and a purpose for your life. I know it hurts. I know it sucks to feel like I will never see that person again. But if you keep living, you will see them again. It may not be on this side of earth, but you will see them again. Take it to heart that at least you know that they are at peace. We don't always know the silent struggles that other people have had. We don't know what their prayers are. You never know. Somebody may have had a prayer that God take them. They may be tired. And we're like, oh, please just hold on. Hold on. For what? So that they can see you make it? But even though they're dying on the inside, even though that they're hurting on the inside, you want them to be there for your graduation. They can see that from the other side. And I'm not trying to be harsh, but I'm trying to help you to see. Sometimes people are really going through stuff that they may never tell us. They don't want us to know what they're actually going through. They just want peace. So if God takes them, don't take it as a personal blow to you. This situation isn't about you. I'm not trying to be harsh, but sometimes people are actually going through things and God answered their prayer. He told them no more suffering. You can get through this because God will be with you. And that person, they will always be with you. They'll be comforting you and everything. They just needed better seats. They needed a seat where they're not struggling anymore. They don't have to worry about how they're going to keep the lights on. They don't have to worry about the pressure. They don't have to worry about pain anymore. But they'll always be with you and they'll always be in your heart. But now they're at peace. Let them rest. Okay? With that being said, always know that you have worth, you have value, you are always worthy, worth it, and priceless. I'm praying for you.